We have an awesome show for you guys today.
The greatest eventer of all time.
Good news for the sport.
Welcome to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We are about to start our Olympic review, John. And before we do that, on this new episode, we're going to take a break, listen to our sponsors, and come back and just really get going on the Olympic review.
Want to advertise on the John and Rick Show? Contact John at 352-875-8622.
Or call Rick at 850-879-2649.
For a horse owner on the road, your trailer is essential. No one enjoys being stuck on the road. At Horse Trailer Pros, we repair, renovate, and maintain all makes and models of horse trailers. We work directly with your insurance company or manufacturer for warranty repairs and insurance claims. Our state-of-the-art facility provides quick turnaround and friendly customer service. Considering a living quarter conversion? We do those too. Find comfort on the road with Horse Trailer Pros. Call or text 352-804-2131. HorseTrailerPros.com.
Welcome to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We are here in the Jump for Joy studio or the virtual Jump for Joy studio, and the Olympics are basically drawing to a close for equestrian, and we had a very exciting time. The eventing was pretty cool to watch. Jumping just wrapped up. Rick, what are your thoughts on everything?
Yeah, it was exciting. We lost sleep last week because of the Olympics, but that's all right. It was worth it. We got up every morning at 3:30. It went really well. I know the U.S. we wanted to do much better than I think did we end up 7th?
Yeah, I think that's right.
And I think we had a strong going. I think it's just very difficult with the non-drop score, and a lot depends on a lot of things. And I don't think anybody did anything wrong. I just think some bad luck happened, and we ended up down the line. Otherwise, I think we would have been right on the medal. Right on the podium.
Yeah, it was, I think we've got Bobby Costello coming on here, who's the coach, and he's going to talk us through sort of his look at everything. But the big thing I took away from the U.S. performance was we could have been a little better, possibly in the dressage, and we could have been a little better, possibly in the cross country. But I think all three of the riders were going there to be competitive. I didn't feel like anybody was protecting anything. Sometimes it doesn't quite work out here or there. And
yeah,
you're right. It is such a difficult team competition when you don't have that drop score.
No, it's true. And a lot of people, what happened to Caroline wasn't televised. I mean, we missed, at least I didn't see it. But I did see it later when she posted it. And it was just a bad luck. I think the German rider actually fell off at that same combination when he dropped down, and a horse jumped into the ditch and he fell off. Caroline, I think,
they just didn't read the ditch well, did they?
No, the ditch wasn't being read well at all. And, unfortunately, and we can get into this later, but there wasn't really an option, that could have taken away what happened to Caroline. So it's too bad because the horse wanted to jump everything. It's not that it didn't jump everything. I think it just had a bad stumble through the ditch.
Yeah, and I watched Mike Winter go through, and the horse stuck a leg in the ditch and sort of got out on 4 legs on the other side in a little bit of a pile, and he got away with it.
Right.
And Mike has so much experience, but it just the point is it's just a little bit of bad luck. And I think I, for one, am pretty proud of the performance in general. I thought Caroline did a great job keeping herself focused. Like when something like that happens in that situation, it'd be so easy to just hang your head and go slow and not try. And the fact that she picked herself up and kept going, kudos to Caroline. She's a champ, and I'm excited for that horse and rider combination going forward.
Agreed with you. Agreed.
Yeah.
And the other two were fantastic as well.
Yeah.
So exciting times to have Bobby Costello on the show.
Yeah.
Should we get ready for that?
Yeah, but one other thing, how cool is it that Boyd got that horse to the Olympic Games?
Yeah,
know?
I was talking to some people about that with the whole story behind that with Annie Goodwin.
Yeah.
And I think somebody did a side by side of Annie riding him in cross country garb and Boyd as well. And
Yeah.
it was just so cool that that horse did make the Olympics. That was Annie's dream. And her family members had to have been just, very elated that happened.
Yeah, I can't imagine the emotion. So congratulations to her family and to the horse and to Boyd and to Liz stepping up and getting that done.
Yep. And
as
the
reserve
boys
rider.
and the boys that own that horse, I just saw that they're on a sailboat in Portugal. So
Yeah, I saw that too just before we went on.
That'd be
Absolutely.
fun.
So
Yeah.
congrats to all the team, all the support staff, USEF staff, the grooms, the barn managers. I was talking with Max Corcoran, like it sounded like everybody did their job and we're just like that close. Also, congratulations to Great Britain. I think Leslie called it right. And I think you called it right too, didn't you? Or did you pick USA? I think you picked USA. You got it as wrong as I did.
No,
and then
yeah, I think I don't know. We did heart picks and we did all kinds of picks, but yeah, I think I went with that on both.
yeah,
So.
and congrats to Michael Young.
Yeah,
Champ again. Well
he
done.
did it. Well, rotated back in, right? Didn't he? He didn't have it at Tokyo, but he had it here.
Did it again. So
Good.
good on him. All right. Why don't we take a break? And
Okay.
We've got Bobby. He's like ready to hop on right now. So let's get Robert Costello, the USEF Technical Advisor, to come in here and tell us all about this.
That'd be great.
All right, cool.
EquiBrew, now available in the USA. It's a live probiotic that you feed daily to your horses. The live microbes go into your horse's gut and cleans up the gut wall, creating a healthy gut system.
EquiBrew is an essential part of my feeding program. My horses love to eat it, and it does a really good job of promoting gut health and also good behavior and great performances.
It's something I recommend for all of your horses, no matter what they do in their careers.
It's so affordable, I can use it on all of my horses in the barn, not just my top horses.
Order EquiBrew today by going to brickfieldnutrition.com or calling 850-879-2649.
Jump for Joy fences are easy to move, lightweight, durable, and low maintenance. So we're out here on the cross country. We just finished over in the show jumping over the Jump for Joy fences. Had a great time schooling over them. They're really nice and easy to move, so we were able to adjust some things and really have the exact school that we needed thanks to the Jump for Joy fences. I love them. Order yours at jumpforjoyusa.com. Grant Showalter has over 15 years of equine bodywork and saddle fitting experience. His technique allows him to identify and alleviate tightness in muscles. He uses trigger point massage to release points of restriction. Grant has over a decade of experience fitting and adjusting a wide variety of saddles. His expertise in equine physiology, coupled with a thorough understanding of the importance of a properly fitted saddle, allows him to quickly identify and correct any balance issues. Grant can also adjust your saddle on site. Grant works on all of my competition horses, and I have noticed a significant improvement in their performance at competitions and their overall way of going. Grant's based in Ocala, Florida year-round, but regularly travels to the surrounding areas. For more information or to schedule an appointment, call 484-639-4454.
Hi, my name's Leslie Law, and we are a proud supporter of Jump for Joy. We've been using their portable cross-country jumps now for about 10 to 15 years. We love these jumps because, as you can see, they're very easy to move. It would only take another person on the other side, and I could place this fence wherever I wanted to very easily.
Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We are here in the Jump for Joy studio and really appreciative that Robert Costello has agreed to join us. Bobby, thanks for coming on. I know you've had a whirlwind trip over to France and back, and now you're doing all the debriefs to everybody. So thank you for having a good sense of humor and for coming on the show, man.
I have a great sense of humor, and I love, and you guys didn't pay for me to say this, but I love Jump for Joy jumps.
Aren't they
They're
awesome?
great.
Great.
Especially
They are
their
awesome.
cross country stuff is awesome because you can just move it around. Anyway, you guys are probably gonna get more money for me saying that, but it was not. I like Jump for Joy stuff. Anyway, sorry, nice to see you guys.
It's
No,
good to see.
nice to see you.
So real quick, did you utilize Jump for Joy fences in any of your Olympic preparations?
We would have, but we didn't have any,
Ooh.
We need to talk to
which is
Sandy
also not
about
a
that.
plea. It's also not a plea for them, but no, I can see them. I'm looking out my window there, and we have them on our cross country course. They're great because you can move them around, you know, and you can make different exercises because sometimes, you know, it's a pain in the butt to get the tractor out and to move the big stuff around. So it's nice to have a few things that you can just like move the chevron to make it 3 strides instead of 2 strides or whatever. So no, I like that.
That's really good. And
Anyway, this is all for nothing. I'm sorry.
It's perfect. Actually, we have lots of time to do that because we're in our new format. And in fact, if you were in Ocala and had your horse trailer, you could go to Horse Trailer Pros and get it fixed up. So we're just going to hit it all right here before we get into the juice of the story.
Well, let's just do it. Let's go.
All right.
So Bob,
I love that he calls you Bob.
I love calling him Bob. Do you know one time, just sidetracked everybody years ago, because Bobby and I have been on a lot of committees together over the years.
Yes.
And there was, I'm sure you know exactly what I'm about to say. And if you don't, you're going to in a second and be really upset. I sent an email out replying to an email that Bobby sent to a committee, a very big committee.
I know what you're going to say.
And I said, thank you so much, Booby.
Yes. That was great. That was
Yes.
great. I appreciated that. I have done that to myself actually a couple of times. So not on purpose, but I think I probably said I would get you back, and I don't think I ever have, but I have a very long memory.
Well, now you can say, lift your hat. Let's look at it.
No, I would never.
Yes,
okay.
You could.
Keep
so
going.
Listen,
you guys are getting distracted.
We're just having fun, man. So you're back from France. Obviously, you went there with the intention of coming home with a medal that didn't quite get pulled off. But I think as I was watching it, and Rick and I have talked about this actually just right before you came on, there's so much positive stuff to pull out of the Olympic Games for the U.S. horses and for the U.S. riders and for the whole program. I thought, it's without a throwaway score, any little mistake is so incredibly costly. So we're not looking for like honestly, I'm not looking for the PR, we have to be positive, rah, but what are your thoughts coming out of it? Your real raw thoughts?
Well, definitely, we knew that format, the 3 no drop score was going to be tough. I now have firsthand experience knowing how just brutal and they're just unsparing it is, but every team was dealing with the same thing, right? So we weren't special. We weren't treated harsher than anyone else, but it does, I think we've made it through some championships before where all has kind of just fallen apart. This competition, we just had, one little blip that was very costly. And honestly, if it was a 4-1 drop score, we wouldn't even be talking about it right now. But that is what this Olympic format is, for better or for worse. And we just ended up a little bit on the short end of it this time around. But if you, I think going forward, though, those are 3 phenomenal horses for the future. We had, a lot of positives come out of it without being falsely kind of optimistic and, trying to make everything sound good. But we definitely need to come out of this feeling better than worse. Because I think there's a lot of positives to bring forward for Aachen in 2 years and LA in 4 years.
So are those sort of obviously LA is, but is Aachen a big key for you? I know we've made a big push at that event. when you think about sort of the Nations Cups, Aachen, World Championships, Pan Ams, how do those things all rank in your view going forward to LA?
Yeah, I mean, job number one is to really start thinking about what is the plan for the next 4 years. LA has got to be our goal. Everything leading, everything over the next few years, everything has got to be with that goal of going to LA and producing a seriously good result there. And absolutely, Aachen in 2 years has, is a big part of that. But honestly, and I say it a lot, I know that we're at a little bit of a disadvantage, and we have many advantages, obviously being from the United States, but we are at a disadvantage no matter what way you look at it, because we try to get over to Europe as much as we can. We try to go to as many team competitions, Nations Cups that we can, but we don't have unlimited funds. Those are very, very expensive trips. We have to target two or three of them, depending on the year. Every single Nations Cup is in Europe. We used to have one in North America. We don't have that anymore. The Europeans have the European Championships on the off years from the World and Olympic Games. That's a huge boon to them. Just something as easy as getting to Aachen. They just hop. They either come from continental Europe or head over on the ferry from the UK. So we are at a disadvantage, but it's always been so. So it's not a complaint. It's just we've got to know that we just have to keep playing the game, and it's a little bit harder for coming from where we are. But we have got to. We cannot compete as a team enough, as far as I'm concerned. We've had success at Aachen the last couple of years. Obviously, we had success at the World Championships. So there's so much more positive stuff going on, and I don't want the Olympics to kind of cloud that, because it'd be very easy to get into a funk. It's so funny. Like I was worried about a few things after our silver medal at Tony, but nobody was necessarily that interested in them then, because we did really well and everybody was so excited. And but I was thinking, like, yeah, that it was great, but there's this that we really need to be thinking about and not get complacent about. And so just a little bit on the flip side from the Olympics, yeah, there's things to definitely take note of, and improvements that have to be made across the board. But I also don't think that we need that we should be completely doomsdaying over that weekend. That makes sense. Middle of the road, John. Middle of the road. Not too high, not too low.
Good job. I want to get into that stuff, and then I want to turn this over to you, Rick, for a little bit. But sort of the elephant in the room. There was drama right before you guys got to the venue, horses getting swapped out, riders changing. I know obviously a lot of that stuff is things that's confidential to the riders, but can you just shed whatever light can be shed on that for the fans, so they know what went down? Yeah.
So there was a swap. Will Coleman and Boyd both were there with their team horses, but they also were fortunate to have direct reserve. So what that means is if your top horse, something happens with that horse for whatever reason, you automatically get to sub in that direct reserve. That's different than like an alternate. An alternate is just one of many, and they may get slotted in, they may not, but direct reserves automatically get slotted in. So there was a change from off the record to Diabolo. Everybody was perfectly excited about that because it's a phenomenal horse. And it wasn't until after we arrived on the venue, just so you all know, that the last thing that happens before we shipped from our training camp in Vittel, France to the venue in Versailles was the horses at 6 o'clock in the morning before they get on the lorry to make that final trip to Versailles. They get trotted up before they get on the lorry. We had a group of horses that were going to an off satellite place off venue with our reserve horses, and then we had another lorry for the Olympic horses. So about an hour after we arrived on the venue, Diabolo was taken out of his stall and was 4 out of 5 lame, just out of nowhere. And as you guys that are have had horses and everything happen under the sun, as I have, it looked like a very serious abscess, and it was treated as such. Miraculous work done by Dr. Johns and Beck Ratte, our team farrier, got the horse quite comfortable, but not comfortable enough, and so devastatingly for Will and his owners and his grooms and his staff and all his fans. All of a sudden he was left without a horse for the Olympics, was probably the worst, the most heart-wrenching thing that I've ever been part of, and to see it happening. And it was a horrible 24, 30 hours to try so hard and not quite get there. And but we had to move on. We were very fortunate when you look at the depth of the horsepower that we have in the United States. We still started with a very, very strong team of 3. Any team from any country would have been happy with any of those horses. Even with our reserve, Sydney Elliott, she was great in that role. So when it's happening, there's not a lot of time to sit back and feel bad for oneself. Like you have no time to just pull yourself together, get ready for the trot up, and then that whole competition with only 1 day of dressage, it actually goes by quite fast. So we didn't have time to do anything except just like get our focus on the horses that were going to be competing for us, and that's what we did.
Yeah,
right.
definitely, Bobby. I know that must be very difficult. And I know Will's been a frequent visitor on our show and good friends of ours, all of us. And my heart was gutted for him. Because what a guy to go out there and represent us with 2 great horses. So, our thoughts are with him and his travels over. But Liz stepping up to the plate, the thought was she did a great job. Wasn't she the highest placed after dressage coming in?
Yes.
That
Yes.
place?
Yeah. Let me backtrack for 1/2 of a second. And just to say about Will throughout that whole thing, like what you can just imagine what when you see this all happening in front of you, the feelings that you have and going through your mind. And he just was such a class individual throughout that whole situation, and never for 1 second, from the moment that he knew that he would not be riding, he was there for the team. The whole rest of the weekend, he was out scouting on cross country day. He was in the warm-ups for dressage. He was, checking on the time allowed for the show jumping. It is just a lesson for people who might be in that situation going forward. Like it's just amazing what you learn about somebody when you see them in that kind of situation. And I was just so impressed. So anyway, I just want to get that out there. And yeah, Liz came into the team. I think she had one of her best competitions ever. She that horse is still developing on the flat, honestly. And I think she maximized her score for that phase. He was phenomenal cross country, had, a few time penalties. Again, he's just a 10-year-old. So, I don't think she could take the risks maybe as some others could, but she gave the horse a wonderful ride, and it jumped great in the team competition on the Monday, the last day. So, no, she had a very, very good Olympic Games.
Yeah, what a spot to come from and come in there and show what she's got. We thought that was great. And your other team members, obviously, you're very strong. Boyd was out there with his horse, and Andy Goodwin must be smiling from above, because that was just a thrill to watch that horse go. What are your thoughts on that pair?
Yeah, I mean, Fetterman B, what a champ that horse is. It's wild, because when you hold that horse up to some other horses in the competition, like he doesn't always look like he's going to be the fastest or the best mover or what, but that horse has such heart. And Boyd got every last thing out of Bruno on cross country day. He gave him a beautiful ride. Bruno just skipped around there like nobody's business. And it's just as amazing, because I don't think to me, when you look at him, he's like, he doesn't shout out to you like a bonsai de Loire or someone like that. Like he works his butt off, that horse, and boy, gives him a perfect ride. And he's racked up some pretty impressive results along the way. So I think it's only good things coming for them as a partnership.
So, Bobby, just a little bit wondering some insight as well. I like to ask the hard hitting questions.
Yeah.
So
it's all right.
you go into
I'm
this
ready.
competition. The plan is to be as competitive as you can. You get the dressage scores that they get, which had you close enough, maybe not exactly what everybody was hoping for, but had you close enough. What was your plan for these guys on cross country day? Like, did you expect everybody was going to go out there and you need to go as fast as you can? Were you thinking like Boyd's horse and Caroline's horse were a little younger, and like they were younger horses, really?
Liz's horse, not Boyd's horse. Liz's horse.
Sorry,
I think Boyd's is
horse. Thank you.
14.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, Liz's horse. I apologize.
Yeah.
Like, were you still expecting those horses to go double clear, or I guess the question, what were the instructions?
Yeah. So I'll tell you, like, we are very fortunate in that we have Ian Stark has now for as long as I've been doing this role for the last 3 years, starting in 2022. Ian Stark has been our cross country advisor, coordinator, man on the ground during these big championships. He had a detailed plan for every horse, but as it's been in the other championships, there's not a lot of nuance. Like if you want to be competitive and be standing up there on the medal podium at the end of the weekend, there's nothing you can do but go for it. However, he was very careful to say to everyone, the jumps have got to get jumped first. That's priority number one. And then you go as fast as you can in between the jumps, but get the jumps done first. That's, because there's just, again, we know that there's you can't have anything go wrong and hope to medal. So definitely the instructions were quickly as you can, but get the jumps jumped.
Right.
Which is good instructions. I mean, obviously that's what needs to be done. We can turn our focus to Caroline, who had a very young horse, a great career leading up to the Olympics. She was my pick. I love Caroline in that horse. And I think, to me, in my opinion, she had a much better dressage score than she was awarded, but that's my opinion. And then moving into the cross country, she looked so great. And I think that ditch down off the drop, the ABCD, I think they were, was causing some problems. A German rider had a fall at that ditch. We didn't get to see it on Peacock, but we saw subsequent videos. She just had bad luck jumping down the thing and the horse not reading the ditch, and then she had to go around and do a combination that didn't help her get rid of the 20.
Yeah, I don't. That ditch was it was it was revetted on the front side, open on the back side. It wasn't a huge ditch. It was very shallow. So the horses, like, they just weren't jumping it. Honestly, right. They were just kind of, every now and again you'll be out schooling and, a horse will just put a foot in the ditch and be like, oh, come on, like, let's go. But I mean, horse after horse after horse was doing that at the beginning. And then we realized that you just have to come off that bank as quietly as possible, leave yourself a little bit of room to the ditch. And then the horses were coping with it better. The left-hand side, that was an option, but there was a little, we didn't like it because, again, if they jumped off that bank on the left-hand side a little bit unpredictably, you were committed. It was for the next, there wasn't a ditch, but there was a skinny on a kind of a swale type of situation with the terrain. And we still, and most teams actually still opted for the right side, but just amended what they were going to have to do just a little bit. And it was just really crappy. And I'm not that much of a believer, lucky, unlucky, but it was just a bummer of a circumstance for Caroline. She should absolutely hold her head high. That is a serious horse for the future. If you see, and the reason why she was put on the Olympic team is because she has done nothing wrong with that horse. Like she knew what we, I told her, you know, she was like, well, how am I going to make the Olympic team? I said, well, you can't do anything wrong this whole, you know, in the spring, this past spring. I said, you're going to have to show that you can hang with the big boys at Kentucky in the 4 short, and you're going to have to go to Tryon and win, like, you know, win, not just kind of back in. And she did, like so up until that point, the horse has done nothing wrong. And you can say that it didn't really do anything wrong that day. It just got caught out by kind of a bogey jump that we then were able to everybody was able to kind of then figure out a little bit, and wasn't as big of a deal, you know, as the day went on. But you know, she should be really proud of herself, the way that she carried herself and the way that the horse absolutely has like the horse and Caroline, they just go with no fear, and they're both so chill, and you don't see any stress in the horse's eye and Caroline's eye. I cannot say enough good things about them at their first Olympic Games, and I'm sure there's going to be many more hopefully for Blake and definitely Caroline.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, Bobby, because I agree with you totally. And a lot of people that are listening or watching that might have been watching the Olympics, there was, you know, when that did happen to Caroline, there was not like some option that she could go around because she couldn't get to that chevron after the ditch. Yeah. They were numbered subsequent, whatever the word is. That, sorry, dog's coming in. So that she could not get rid of what happened. I mean, it was A, correct. B, C, and then B, C, D.
And then exactly. Yeah. So there was she just didn't have any good options, and right. She needed to do the thing that was going to cause the least amount of damage, which is go the long way, knowing that you had to pick up the 20, and which was a real bummer. But again, you can't say that she, you know, was inaccurate somewhere, or, you know, missed in the show jumping or whatever. It's just a really bummer of a circumstance. But those things happen. It's sports and it sucks, but you know, there you go.
Agreed. And I know,
just to put it,
yeah, I know, John, you probably have some questions as well, but when I watched the other two going around, it was class riding. They did a really great job. So even with the 20, there was a lot of teams out there that were, if things could have gone around, there could have been still a way to get to the podium, but that didn't work out. So what was it like after the cross country day when y'all all huddled back around?
It's, again, like when you're in the middle of it, I think it's much less dramatic than when you're looking from the outside. Like everybody, I think, and I knew, like when I went to the Olympics, when I would think about it when I was younger, I was just like, I couldn't even imagine the pressure that it must be like to even be thinking about going to the Olympics. And then when I was actually in one, it's very almost calming and comforting when you're kind of in the middle of that hurricane. It's a little bit quieter. People, you know, are there supporting one another. We didn't, you know, of course it was a real, you know, not great circumstance that we found ourselves in, but you know, there's not a lot to do but to say, okay, anything can happen overnight. You just looking around the barns, there were a lot of horses not trotting up well. All of our horses the whole entire time, just like, I've never been involved with a sounder group of horses. There's usually always something that you have to pull a rabbit out of the hat on the third day or on the last day. You know, our horses just looked amazing the whole entire time. So, you know, and yes, we, you know, a couple of horses were lost overnight. I think maybe we climbed one space due to withdrawals, but you know, it was just a little bit too big of a hole to climb out of, unfortunately. And all the horses, I think, jumped really well on the last day. So I think, you know, people left there. Obviously, we were so disappointed not to finish in the medals, because it was not just, you know, hoping. I think we really went in there with a confident feeling that a medal was possible. And somebody texted me the other day, and I probably am going to get this wrong, but like 4 of the 6 top teams in the world, which we're one of, didn't medal or didn't place well. Like, and that's New Zealand, that's Germany, that's us. That so it's and I don't know if it really matters very much, because the whole idea is to have a good day when everybody's not. So it may make us feel a little bit better, but the reality is, we just it just didn't quite work out for us.
Well, let's do this. I think the future is very bright still. Let's take a break, John. Listen to some of our sponsors. And Bobby, do you mind if we come back and talk about the future and all the great things that have been put together that you and the team has done? And the Olympics was just another stepping stone to even a better future.
Great.
For a horse owner on the road, your trailer is essential. No one enjoys being stuck on the road. At Horse Trailer Pros, we repair, renovate, and maintain all makes and models of horse trailers. We work directly with your insurance company or manufacturer for warranty repairs and insurance claims. Our state-of-the-art facility provides quick turnaround and friendly customer service. Considering a living quarter conversion? We do those too. Find comfort on the road with Horse Trailer Pros. Call or text 352-804-2131. HorseTrailerPros.com.
Hey, it's John here. I just want to let you guys know I got back from schooling at Magnolia Sands Farm here in Ocala, Florida. Their cross-country field is perfectly suited for a first outing on a young horse or schooling your upper-level horse. Magnolia Sands offers over 110 jumps ranging from starter to intermediate, plus multiple banks, ditches, and waters. They're constantly updating their courses and have even added new ditches and a starter ditch wall. Conveniently located in Northeast Ocala, Magnolia Sands has made it easy for riders and trainers with online waivers, Venmo, and PayPal, and even offer a golf cart for guests. MagnoliaSandsFarm.com. Reset, reboot, rebuild, restore. Experience the transformative power of our formulas you can trust. Elevate your horse's well-being from the inside out with Parkmore supplements. European designed, American manufactured, and Kentucky Proud certified. Parkmore's Devil's Own Detox, Nature's Own Binding Agent, cleansing your horse's system. Now available for your canine kids too. Say goodbye to unwanted elements and hello to vitality. Parkmore Special Vitamin Mineral Supplement, a micronutrient powerhouse. No fillers, just 4 ounces a day for a 5-star eventer that thrive. Because excellence deserves exceptional nutrition. Parkmore GLF Immuno Booster. Unleash the magic gold, the #1 building block for cell replication. Elevate wellness and recovery for your horses and dogs, whether after training, travel, competition, or during periods of injury, illness, or surgery. Parkmore HI Oil Infusion. Customize your blends of herbs and spices to naturally combat inflammation, bacteria, and restore gut flora. Elevate your horses and dogs' appetite naturally. Expert guidance awaits. For more information, schedule an online, telephone, or on-site consultation with Fleur or one of our dedicated team members. Visit parkmoresupplements.com or call, text at 502-265-8345 to elevate your companion's well-being today. Since 1950, Maison Forestier has been offering its know-how to design custom-made saddles for passionate riders. In 2016, Maison Forestier took a turn and expanded into the sports world with the goal of improving the performance of the rider-horse pair. You will find a professional, reactive, and fun team to answer your needs. And this is why I have chosen Forestier for all of my saddlery needs. Feel free to contact the saddle expert in your area for more information by visiting www.forestier.com.
Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We are in the virtual Jump for Joy studio, and we are joined by Bobby Costello, who's going to bring us into the future for the United States and the eventing team. Bobby, what does your future look like?
Well, I think, there's a lot of debriefing about, the Olympics that just happened. And I thought about this last week. I think we need like a week or two for everyone to kind of just get their heads around the last couple of weeks, in France. But then for me, that's over. Like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to hear about it. I think it's time to move on and to really start to, take the strengths that we have right now and start building on them and have a real detailed plan first for 2 years going towards Aachen, where the World Championships are going to be, and then 2 years on from there for LA. And LA has got to be our our beacon. Like everything that we do has got to be with that in mind. And I want to feel like we're just ticking boxes, like from now all the way till LA. And there'll be a lot of discussions about what that's going to look like. And I'm going to be talking to a lot of people that I respect and that I think are very smart in the sport. And we'll be developing a 4-year plan. Obviously, I just didn't start thinking about this today, but I have been for the last several months, and certainly like on the plane, just like sat down with a piece of paper and just like started to make notes about, where we need to be now on this, heading towards LA and on the road to LA.
Hey, and John, I've been talking a lot, so I'll give it to you in a second, but something just clicked in my head. LA's in the United States, all the years past when they're in other countries other than the host country, qualifications have to happen, which is always kind of very difficult sometimes. Is that removal of that kind of pressure, does that help in the mindset leading up to LA? It doesn't matter at all.
No, like honestly, like I mean, of course it's nice to have that safety net,
right?
But part of me also wants to be like, you know what, like make us earn it like everybody else, like I think we're only going to be better for it. So, yeah. So yeah, it's very interesting because yes, the host country gets an automatic entry for their team into the next Olympic Games. But yeah, like I almost think that, let's just go as though that we don't have that. And yeah, we should feel like we have to earn it like anybody else. And sometimes, after Bertoni, we got our qualification there. Couple Olympics before that, we needed to go to the Pan Ams last moment to get our qualification. I would love not to have to do that. And again, we don't have to because we do get that automatic slot, but I would like to kind of go along these next couple of years, kind of forgetting about that automatic slot and keep the pressure on us, keep knowing that, if we want to go to LA and be successful, we can't be backing our way into it.
So, Bobby,
in my opinion,
I agree.
I think you're totally right. You want to earn it. You don't want to be protecting anybody trying to get in there. So my sort of thought on all of this is you obviously have developed a really competitive group of, I would say, maybe 10 to 12 top riders who right now have their eyes on LA and they have the horsepower to get there. And maybe 10 to 12 is actually generous for LA, but that you basically can shuffle through. So my question to you is this, like, take this, because we are such a wide international podcast and YouTube show. Take this opportunity, because somewhere out there in America right now, there is a horse that is between the ages of 6 and let's say 10 that is likely going to be on that Olympic team. And it may not be one of those riders that's in the program right now. So if you are talking to one of those people, whether they are 14 years old or 50 years old, and you say to them, you need to get the experience internationally with your horses and produce them to that moment that Caroline did so well with her 9-year-old. What should that plan for those horses be the next 4 years, next 3.5 years?
This is my favorite question that you've ever asked me, because I think about it all the time. And I said it even right after the Olympics in Paris, that we actually have a very, very strong depth of horses, but they're spread among a very few people. Like, that if you look at the horses that Coleman has coming up, or Liz has coming up, Caroline has coming up, Boyd has coming up, and a few of our other top riders, it is really good news. Like, there is such high quality horsepower out there at the moment. The thing that worries me, and that's why, like Rick's daughter, Elisa, is like, I'll sometimes just call her, or I'll see her at an event. It's like, okay, so what's going on? Like, what are you going to, like, what's going on with this horse? Like, I'm always talking to that next group of people that I know are out there, like just digging away and trying to find a way. Cause I was that person, honestly. I wasn't the group that we just had at in Paris. For a long time, I was, always trying to kick and scratch and work my way to the top. So I have a affinity for that group, but I think that group is also going to know it's not going to happen by accident. Like the amount of commitment and work that it takes to be of Olympic and World Games caliber now it just grows and grows and grows and grows every year. It's nuts. Like the quality of the competition out there is amazing. So you got to make sure, I don't care like who it is. I don't care if you're a 35-year-old who thinks, or 40-year-old that thinks that they still have a shot. That's great. But you got to look at the who is succeeding now, what is getting them there. And it's not always money. And people will automatically say, well, I just don't have the money. I just don't have the support. Well, there is always a way. Like you have to be tenacious, and you have to be willing for there to be a lot of setbacks. But the thing that you need to do the most is be in a really solid program. Surround yourself with the very best vets, farriers, staff, coaching. It's all part of it, and it only gets more sophisticated. So I would like to think that we're going to have 4 to 5 other people over the next 4 years kind of come into the fold. And I'm hoping so, but it's going to be very hard for them because they need to be looking at, wow, what is it that these guys are doing that is making them, helping them be successful week in, week out. And it's not always just horsepower. It's not always just like support and the money. There's a lot of intangibles. It's the work ethic and the the desire and the willingness to give up a lot to kind of, see your dreams to come to fruition. So I'll be continuing like a lot of those conversations with that group of people that I know are out there, and they're working hard and they may be struggling a little bit, but I love having those conversations with those people, and they got to feel like, if those folks don't feel like they have at least a shot, like I don't know how we keep a healthy sport in this country where people always feel like, man, if I can just, you have to have the results. And I mean, especially, like even to get on one of these training lists is incredibly hard. Like the bar is so high, but it's no big accident that the Olympic team and reserves and alternates pretty much all came from one of those training lists. So that's priority number one for these guys. You have to be able to get those scores. You have to be able to finish under a sub, whatever it is. The markers are out there for everyone to see. There's very little subjectivity part to that anymore. It's to make it on one of these lists, you just have to have the results. You don't have to have, you don't have to be with the right crowd or whatever. Like it's all about results. That part has become quite a bit more objective, which I think is incredibly beneficial. We still have some subjectivity in the selection part of it, which I think we need to. But still, so much more of this is results and data driven. And man, like you just have to be getting the results and putting yourself out there. And I would love to see more competition for these guys at the top.
So what you're saying is like, there's nobody that's left out if they can get the results. It's like, even if like you were a 47-year-old guy, if you could get the results, you'd still have a shot.
You finish, I think one of the markers, there's like 5 different ways that you can make it onto one of these lists. One of them is finishing or winning, 30, sub 30, a 4-star. And it's not easy, but it's doable. And it's finishing in the top 5 at a badminton or Burley, or top 3 at a Kentucky or Maryland. And that automatically gets you onto one of these training lists. And that is a huge step. There are combinations of ways as well. All of this is in the public domain. If you're interested and you're hungry, look it up, because that's your responsibility. No one's going to spoon feed you that information. Like all that information is out there, and make a plan, like become very, like just surgical about it and strategic about it. And if that's what you really want, like you need to make a plan and figure out how you're going to give yourself the best chance of getting there.
So in the words of Al Davis, just win,
God,
baby.
Here we go.
Just
win, baby.
Yeah.
Is that what he says?
That's
Who's
what
Al
that's
Davis?
he used to own the Raiders. He's passed away, but
Oh,
that was what he told his players was just win, baby.
yeah, just win.
Just win,
it's
Bobby.
true.
Just win, Bobby.
Just win, booby.
That's good enough for me. Thanks, John.
Hey,
believe me,
so-
I'm just waiting for the moment. Just waiting for the right
You'll get
moment.
it. You'll get it soon.
Okay, moving on. Let's go.
Yeah, I have one more question before I turn it back to you, Rick. One more quick question, then it's all you.
Let's hear it.
I can tell by the look on your face already that it's going to be a doozy.
That's a good one.
Well, how can you tell with all the Botox on this face?
Oh, that's tough. All right, it's fair.
I wasn't going to say anything.
It's fine. Whatever.
I've got Botox.
Did you get
that
to
doesn't happen
meet
by accident?
Exactly? Did you get to meet Snoop Dogg or Martha Stewart while you were there?
This is the truth. So I was, it was the last day of competition, hung around the venue for a couple of hours, talking to my friend Carly, who does all the press and social media for the USCF. And as I was leaving, like a group from the Today Show, including Martha Stewart, I think the Snoop was on that trip as well. We're heading into the venue. I think I missed them by like a couple of 100 yards or something. But I like, as you can imagine, I was ready to move on and to leave.
Yeah, I'm sure you were, but it's Snoop Dogg.
But those guys are on their way in to do I think they were going to talk to Stefan for being, the oldest, male in the Olympics. But yeah, I miss them. But yeah, they've done a lot for, to get notoriety for our sport, and whatever that takes, I can dig it.
Yeah, really. No, it's very cool. And I just want to throw it out there, Snoop, anytime you want to come on the John and Rick show, we'd be thrilled to have you. And
we'll take Martha too. We'll take
Martha. Any of them. Yeah.
Hey, Bobby, back to, I think it's great, your philosophy, and I can definitely attest to the fact that you reach out. Lisa loves that about you, but other people out there that you reach out to as well. What they also need to understand is moving into this is applications have to be made. You need to always put your foot into the ring. So you need to make sure that you go onto your dashboard, you look and see what's going on, because there's nothing you can do if they don't have an application in. Correct?
Yeah, correct. And what I always say is that even if you don't think, okay, maybe this year I may not quite make the team that's going to go to Buccolo in a couple of months in the Netherlands, put your application. I think it costs like $50 or $75 or something. And and you, by doing that, and I've said this a billion times, and you guys have heard me say this, by doing that alone, you are guaranteeing that the selectors are going to watch you, that they're going to look up your record, for better or for worse. They're gonna have to start to get intimate with you and your horse and what you can do and what your results are. And and when they hear your name and they're at a competition, you're going to be watched. It's the cheapest way to get the attention of, the US selectors and me, honestly. So that's a huge one, because, we have Buccolo coming up, and I think I saw the list of people that we have so far that have applied. I think the final day is August 15th or 16th. But again, just go on the website and everybody can see that. But if you have a horse that's qualified, like, apply. Like, even if you don't get named to the team, I'm gonna look, I'm gonna look up your record. I'm gonna probably know it anyway, but or have a good idea. But yeah, like, apply for every grant, every team, every Nations Cup, whatever you can do. Because again, it doesn't cost a lot of money to do any of this stuff. And it actually just shows you're interested. Like, I think there's a whole group of people out there that I actually think are really talented, but they can't really be bothered sometimes to even do stuff like fill out applications, and it makes me nuts. So yeah,
good point.
I think
you kicked that can. That was good.
Oh my God, I just bang on about that all the time, but it's a biggie. It's a biggie.
Good. John, what are you thinking? Because I can't read your face anymore.
You're such an asshole.
Oh my God, that was so good.
Okay.
Was, oh, Rick, boom.
Yeah.
That was really good. I like it.
Do I look surprised?
No.
Eternally.
Yeah, eternally surprised. So,
Hey,
Bobby,
yeah.
you just said it. The next big thing is Buccalo. Is that kind of the then are you going to what events are you going to? You going to Burley, Blenheim, Buccalo? What are you planning?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the ACs. I haven't been in a couple of years.
Oh, sweet, you can hang.
And again, that's a place that I can, meet a lot of these guys that I want to light a fire under a little bit and talk to them. I think we're going out. Leslie Law and I are going out to Woodside. I think the first weekend, October, to do another one of these futures team challenges, but on the West Coast. And then we head to Buccalo the following weekend. And then I think it's, I don't know if there's a week in between that and Maryland, which, after last year, I'm so excited about because the course was fabulous and it's Ian's last year. And I'm sure it's going to be an incredible send off for him. As you guys know, like the season, is just never ending now, which is a whole nother discussion. But yeah, it goes quite late into November. So yeah, we'll be rocking it right to the end.
all
Awesome.
right.
Well, best of luck to you with all of that. I hope that you still have a sense of humor. If you start getting stressed out and you notice any wrinkles coming, I know the
You
lady
can
to
set
send
me
you
up.
to now. Yeah, I can set you up. She's very good.
I
That's great.
think they
I
should
love
put
it.
that on as an expense tab, like, I don't know, Botox for Bobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I'm a pretty vain person, but I've never even thought about it. I think I really don't have wrinkles in my
Yeah,
forehead. I
because
have
you don't have
them
any wrinkles,
everywhere
Bobby.
else.
You look great.
But I do not. I probably could use a little something here and there, but no, good for
Well,
you, John.
just look at John.
There's a
Well,
lot of pressure in this world for good-looking men, to look even better,
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to cling to my youth as long as I can. And mostly
agree.
it's because my wife hounded me for the past 2 years to get it done. And finally I was like, apparently I don't look so good. And I got it, I got it done. Got to keep the wife happy.
That's all right. That's okay. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. She's perfect.
As we wind down, John, and we see you are smiling, it looks good. Badminton. Burley is coming up, and I know we have some US riders going. We have
Yes.
Hannah Sue, we have Will Baudry.
Mhm.
Who else
We
is on
have Mia Farley.
Mia Farley Phelps? Yeah.
Cosby Green. Now this is I didn't prep for this. So, and the entries are, there's just a handful of people that they're showing. And yeah, so I bet you will have a good, I would love to see 6 to 8 US riders there. That would be awesome. And it's my favorite overseas 3-day event. Be careful to make sure I say overseas. I got to compete there a few times and I love it's fantastic. So I love going back there. So I can't wait to head out back there beginning of September.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, listen,
Thanks.
All right.
Bobby,
Thanks,
thank
you
you for
guys.
coming on. I am fully aware that you've been on all these meetings and really talking to us was the least of your priorities this week. So thank you sincerely for doing it.
No, honestly, this is always so much fun. You guys do a great job with this show, honestly. And this is kind of this is one of my more enjoyable hours that I've had lately. So it's good. Thanks, guys.
Take it for sure.
Thank you. Appreciate
All right,
it.
man. Thanks, Bob.
Bye.
Winding down, everybody. Thanks.
All right. So we will be back, in 2 weeks' time, right, Rick?
Yep.
All right. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another awesome show, and hopefully we can have somebody as awesome as Bob. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Bob.
Bye.
We have an awesome show for you guys today.
The greatest eventer of all time.
Good news for the sport.